Hello. Welcome back to my channel. What? I'm about to record a video.
What is this? That's still mucus?
Probably. Close it all the way, please. Ooh. Hello, hunties. All right. So my name is Nisi, for everyone who does not know, according to my channel and my Instagram, but I'm back with another video. But today's video is about to be a little different. So I'm trying something out because the main purpose of me starting my channel was to motivate and inspire, and I like to talk and I like to do inspirational things and talk about topics that I feel like are main topics that people that are my age that are going through or that have been through and certain things like that. So I created a brand called Happiness Within Me, which I'm going to insert down here. You can see my logo, and that just for me is something that I created for myself when I was going through a very rough time in my life. I was very depressed. I was very anxious. I had suicidal ideations. Like, there was a lot going on in my life, and I was in college at the time, in toxic relationships. Like, it was just so much going on. I had childhood trauma. Like, it was just so much going on in my life that I got to the point where I'm like, enough is enough. Like, now it's time for me to reclaim my life, reclaim my happiness, my peace. And honey, I'm ready to share my journey and hopefully to inspire one person if it does. And that's my hope, that's my dream, to just use my testimony to touch other people's lives. So with that being said, I am starting a series this week called Toxic Relationships. So I'm going to give a little bit of background about my life and my upbringing, just to give a little context to why I'm talking about what I'm talking about today. So for today's video, I'm actually going to be talking about my father. My father was killed when I was 2 years old. I really don't have memories of him. I just have what people tell me about him. And I've been told, like, his personality, the type of person he was, and how much I look like him. And I have pictures. Like, I'm going to show all of that stuff here. And I'm just going to show pictures. I'm just going to give you a little bit context about what happened to me. I do have my notebook here because I do want to make sure I'm touching the things that I want to talk about. So with that being said, we're going to get right into this video. All right, so now we get into the series called Toxic Relationships. This is probably going to be like a maybe 4-part series, because I have maybe 4 to 5 part series, because one I might mix together or I might spread it apart. Depends on the contents I get, the feedback that I get from everybody. If you want me to break it up, put it together. We're going to start off with this first video first, okay? So topic is of number 1 of toxic relationships. So I'm going to talk about how my father was killed when I was 2 years old and how that impacted my life as a girl, for one, as a woman seeking the validation in the wrong spots, in the wrong places, and kind of how I overcame that a little bit. And that's just like the snippet of this video. And then I have more to go to the other ones. All right, so the backstory. So I was born on the west side of Chicago, 1995. I had very humble upbringing. Ooh, excuse my language. I was born into poverty. I was born into dysfunction. Like, it was just a lot going on in my life, where even as a 2-year-old, I was exposed to so much. And a lot of that's played a part into who I am today and my process of me going through everything. All right, so a little bit of backstory. So I was told about my father because I started wanting to know about my life and the things that started happening and why things were happening to me. So I started questioning who my father was, what he looked like, all this other stuff, when I was probably around 21, 22. I was around that age where I started to question, like, who is he? I was told very little when I was a kid. Oh, he got shot, and I actually have a story that I can tell about him, what happened, the things leading up to him being shot and killed, and just like his personality. I can go into greater details if you guys want that story. If you do, just leave me a comment and I will gladly expand on that portion of his life. But back to what I was saying, I struggled. Like, at the age of 2, I didn't realize how traumatic something like that would affect me. I started to realize, like, these past couple years of me soul searching and developing self-care for myself, that as I got older, I was seeking the validation of my father's love. Like, subconsciously, I always wanted to know what it felt like to be loved by my father, how it would feel. Me being told that he was such a protector, me being told that he was one of the most caring people, like he had that personality that was just like super caring, super loving, and protective. He was very protective of his family. And that's actually how he passed away, because he was protecting someone. So, growing, like, as years transpire, now that I'm able to reflect, I realized I was seeking for my father's affection. I was seeking for that affection, and I was curious, and I wanted to know what that love felt like, because that's a part of my life I would never really be able to experience. With that being said, the traits of me seeking validation and me wanting my father's love grew as I got older. So for me, I searched for that love in all the wrong places. And guys, if you like this series or you want me to do more talking videos, please like this video, comment down below. Also subscribe to your girl, because I am on the road to 1K, okay? 1K. So if you are enjoying this, or if you have any feedback for me, please let me know in the comment section below. Also follow your girl on Instagram, because I have so much more content on my Instagram. I have motivation videos, all of that stuff you can find on my Instagram in my highlights called Nisi. So with that being said, now let's get into the video. All right, you guys. So I gave you a little bit of a background about, where this all started for me. And it was losing my father at the age of 2. I didn't know it at the time, that at the age of 2, my life would be changed forever. And as I got older, the traits of seeking validation and that search for my father's love grew as I got older. It manifested itself so big to the point where it affected my relationships, friendships, how I thought about myself, how I looked at myself, and my confidence, my self-esteem. Like, it depleted a lot out of me. I didn't realize that I was hurt. I was a lost little girl, and at the age of 14, I lost my virginity. I lost my purity. I had no idea how important it was to save myself till marriage, to not just be out here giving myself away, because I didn't really know of a such thing as a soul tie. And when I did go to church, I was raised in a church, but when I went to church, the only thing I was told about sex was not to have it. Don't have sex or you're gonna go to hell. That didn't answer any of my questions, my curiosity about what is it? What is it like? Why can't I? Like, I wasn't really able to ask questions. So, being a high schooler, 13, 14, and mind you, like, when I was younger, I was exposed to porn at a young age. I saw it. Like, I saw family members watching it. So I was very curious as to what that action was and why can't I do it. So at the age of 14, I was messing around with somebody in high school, and we were role versions, and he convinced me to lose my virginity. So with me not knowing that purity, I'm just like, I want to know what it feels like, so let's do it. Not realizing the importance of saving it, the purity and the importance of it. To not do it, girl. Don't do it. Like, what? And that started a whole chain of things for me. That ignited my life of sexual sin, to be honest with you. I started having one night stands. Like, I was with one person throughout, the same person. Like, when I first lost it, we were the same, like maybe the first 6 months. But then after that, honey, I was out here just with everybody. Not like that, but a lot of men, were able to, I don't know, just sweet talk me into doing it, because I believed a lot. I didn't really have that confidence in myself to know, like, you deserve better. So with that being said, it led to one night stands. It led to me accepting toxic behaviors from males, being treated and talked to any type of way. It led to me labeling myself as a sex addict, bragging about my sex life, calling myself a nympho. Like,
I was just proud. Like, your girl is out here living her best life. I'm doing this, doing that. Like, you can't tell me nothing, honey, because I'm out here doing my thing.
And little did I know, that was just pulling away bits and pieces of me, who I am, who I wanted to be, me identifying myself, my confidence, because I didn't know what a soul type was. I didn't realize that every person I slept with was me giving a piece of myself away to that person. And I'm depleting myself, because when you're giving yourself constantly, you're not pouring into yourself, you're just pouring out and you're emptying. You're going to be on E eventually. And I got to that point in my life where I was on E maybe 2 years ago. So all the way up until then, I was in toxic relationships. I was emotionally and physically abused. I had the lowest self-confidence, lowest self-esteem. I posted stuff for likes. I was on all types of dating apps, just seeking, like, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to feel wanted and needed. And I didn't really know how to verbally say that, because I didn't know at the time that that's what that was. Y'all, I literally became numb to myself. I became numb to the fact that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm supposed to live my life. This is how I'm gonna have that validation. This is how I'm supposed to be. It wasn't until maybe 2 years ago when I accepted God into my life. When I hit that wall, when I was like, enough is enough. When I tell you the relationships that I had, if I can go back and tell myself to pause, listen to these actions of these men. First of all, they will tell you how they feel about you by the way they treat you, by the way they talk to you, and how much effort they put into you. If he's not replying to your text messages until 1 o'clock in the morning, honey, that's a booty call. If he say one thing and he's not keeping his word, that's inconsistency. Like, I was finding validations for the smallest things. Like, I done dated different types of men. I've dated the hood, I've dated Hispanic, Black, I've dated educated, like, it's just, I dated them all. And at that time, I was giving myself away too much. And it got to the point where my anxiety kicked in, my depression kicked in, suicidal ideations kicked in. And when I tell you, I felt like this world was better off without me, because it's just like I kept trying to get people to like me, kept trying to get people to want me, to validate me, instead of me validating myself, me accepting myself, and me loving myself first in order for it to get any of that. So 2 years after, so I started the journey, 2 years into it, I got another relationship. Started off good, started off perfect. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna treat this relationship how I want to be treated. I've read books, I've been following Facebook pages. I'm in groups that support women to show me how to be a high value woman, to be treated the way I'm supposed to be treated, right? So then I get into that relationship. Mind you, that relationship is from a high school where I was cheated on in that relationship. He ended up having a baby and we got back together because I thought he changed. Yo, that's a whole nother story. Like, I have so many stories that's inside of stories that I can always break down. Just let me know in the comments down below if that's something that you want to see. So anyways, I got in a relationship. It started off good. It started off great, which every relationship does. You see the person like good side. You see what they want you to see. And it became very toxic very quick. And it wasn't until I accepted God into my life where I realized, Janice, Nisi, this is not what you want. This is not how you want to be treated. This is not how you want to be loved and accepted unconditionally. This is not what you want. And I literally just hit a wall. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. I was tired of crying. I was tired of feeling anxious, depressed, sad. And it's not even just relationships with men. Friendships that I started to develop was deteriorating because of my lack of confidence, my lack of my own self-worth. You know, me losing my father and seeking that validation, just wanting to be validated, I tried to get friends to validate me. I tried to get partners to validate me. I tried to get strangers. I tried to get my work, my job, my accomplishments to validate me. And in reality, all of that means nothing if you don't love yourself. If you don't have that positive self-talk with yourself to be like, you know what, honey, look at yourself in the mirror and just love yourself. Admire everything that you think is a flaw. Admire it. Your smile, your skin, honey. Your girl was bullied for the longest for being dark skinned. The longest. That's something that internally I felt like was one of my biggest flaws, being dark skinned. I felt ugly around other people. I hated myself and I hated being me. I wished that I was lighter. I wished that I was in a different body. I wished a whole bunch of other stuff. The internet will influence you to think that you're not okay. But look at me. Look at me right now in this mirror. Look at me in this camera. And you tell yourself, you love yourself. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are made in God's image. You are wonderfully, beautifully made. You tell yourself that every day, no matter what anybody else says, no matter what you feel about yourself in that moment, honey, pick yourself up, do something that you like to do, and love you. Okay? Because literally, you won't be able to accept nothing unless you love yourself first. You won't. You won't be able to accept nothing unless you love yourself first. And it wasn't until I let all that stuff go, seeking validation from other people, it wasn't until I let that go that I really received the most wonderful validation that I've ever received in my entire life. And it took me a year to feel that validation. And honey, once I felt it, I met the most wonderful people that saw that in me before I even mentioned it. But first interactions, groups, I went on my first solo trip. I have a video for that. And I met people who loved me like I loved myself. It wasn't me like, okay, let me go to this group and let me try and fit in. No, I went in being myself. Because me, when I first meet people or when I'm first in an environment, I'm very observant. I'm quiet, so I sit and observe. And I like to know what I'm getting myself into. I like to know who I'm around. And when I got into that environment in my first solo trip, people gravitated towards me like never before. I didn't even know what to do with it because I was so shy before. And I'm like, I don't want this. This is not, nope, I know I asked for it, but nope, you can take it back. I don't want it. But in reality, I learned to accept it. I learned to take compliments. I learned to love myself, love my skin, honey, love my smile, my gap. Like, with due time, I learned to love it. And it wasn't until I told myself enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling hurt. I'm tired of feeling pain. And I'm tired of seeking validations from people that I don't want to say are irrelevant, but can't validate me if I can't validate myself. And it took me a while to get there. I had to distance myself from people for a little bit. I had to be in my time. And honestly, when I reaccepted God into my life and I prayed and I fast and I asked God, please remove people that are not for me. Please remove me from any situations that are not for me. And Lord, I pray that you put those people in my life that are meant to be there, that are genuinely here for me and that loves me. I prayed that so many times to the point where it came true. And the first time that I said enough is enough, I instantly felt God's love. I felt him wrap his arms around me and say, thank you. Finally, you invited me in. Let me show you how I work. And ever since then, honey, look, your girl is thriving. Your girl is in love with herself. Like, you can't tell me nothing now. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I love myself. I love it. I love it. I love me. And I just wanted to come on just to talk about a little bit of my background to leading up to where I am now and how I got to where I am. Even not having a father, even not having even a male role model in my life. I had uncles and stuff like that, but no one really was that male figure to me, that go-to father love, nurturing, like father-daughter relationship. I've never had that. But you know what? I found out I do have that relationship, and that's with Jesus. Jesus Christ is the reason why I am where I am today. I have a father, a heavenly father that gets me, that loves me unconditionally, that will never change his love, never shifting, never changing, and it's steadfast, everlasting love, and a gentleman. He doesn't push himself into it in your life. He waits until you get to that breaking point where you're like, Father, I give up. Come in, do your work, and let your will be done. And y'all, I just want to say this is gonna be great. This is gonna be a great journey. I want to really, really, really touch and get the word out there, because it's very important that we as women, we as girls, we know first we heal from child. We know what the childhood trauma is. Time for us, we got to sit back and reflect and really sit down and think, like, what's causing us to act like this. That's one. Two, it's time for us to heal, to love ourselves, to be in love with ourselves, and to, understand what it's like to be you, to be yourself, to just let your shoulders down and not feel like you have to be on this high horse. You have to be perfect. You cannot have any flaws. We don't have time for that. You have to be able to love yourself wholeheartedly, flaws and all, in order to really perfect that self-love. And it's something that constantly happens, that needs to happen every single day. But that's just a little backstory for me for today. I have another topic that I want to talk about, and it's just a 4-part series about, I want to talk about toxic family, because even though you're in toxic relationships with partners or friends, toxic family members can also inhibit your self-growth and your self-worth and your self-love. Then I want to talk about how to move on and just how to be confident. So I'm just ready to get this out here, and I hope you guys accept it. I hope you guys love it. If you have any comments or any questions for me, follow me on Instagram. I also have Nisi Moments on there as well. And I think I'm going to bring Nisi Moments to YouTube, but we're going to see how my series take off. I don't know if you guys are privy to my Nisi Moments yet, but I'm very, very, very excited. You see my shirt? Women of the future. So I'm all about pro-women, self-love, growing, honoring, being true to yourself, and having that love that's meant for you gravitate towards you. Now, honey, your girls have standards. I am abstaining from any sexual activities. I'm not having sex at the moment. It took me a lot to get here, but honestly, excuse me, the road is worth it. 100% worth it. So until next time, I will be back with another one. Part of the Nisi brand, the Happiness Within Me brand. I'm just excited to bring you guys amazing content, and I'm learning still learning, still growing, and I want to learn more. So if you guys have any advice for me, anything that can help me grow and that can help you, if you want to know anything, I do have stories, like a more background story of my father, a little bit about him. I'm going to be talking about family, toxic families, and how to deal with that, how to move on. And I'm just excited for this toxic relationship series. So if you guys like this, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to your girl. Until next time, Nisi. Peace.